We all win when a child is ready to learn on the first day of school, stays in the classroom until graduation day, and plays in a neighborhood where the shouts are of joy, not despair. That's what Living United is all about. What we share together. Our children, our schools, our neighborhood, our community. Because underneath everything we do, everything we are one community, connected, interdependent, and united.
Well, I've been with Family Service Regina for 6 years now. After 16 years of working in the corporate sector, I left and started working for a community-based organization, and I have never looked back. I have to say, I get to see every day the impact that we're having on the people that are utilizing our services in the community and the changes that we're affecting in our community. As part of the United Way, as a funded partner, we have such an impact on those priority areas that United Way is focusing on. Whether we hear from a parent who's attended a parenting class or is attending counseling, supporting them through those early years of their childhood's development. Whether we hear from a mother or father whose daughter has been in a dating abusive relationship and they tell us that they've got their daughter back after attending one of our When Love Hurts program. So that's the impact that I see every day. And again, I can't emphasize the growth that I felt personally from being involved in a community-based organization and hopefully making an impact on the community.
That's why, with your support, we sustain a network of human services and programs that are critical to the well-being of our city. From early learning programs to keeping our kids in school to building safe neighborhoods and ensuring that women and children fleeing domestic violence have a place of safety and shelter. Your gift to the United Way makes a real difference in people's lives each and every day. Because of you, we are changing lives.
So for example, there's a situation that had emerged a couple of years ago where a young mother had moved to Regina from a rural area. She was in an abusive relationship. And she had 3 children, 2 of them, one of them preschool and 2 of them in elementary school. And those kids were not doing well. They were quite upset about what had happened in their family, the violence, the move, the losses, the conflict between the parents. I mean, it really stressed them out, and they were acting out, and she was worn out. She heard about one of our programs called Families First, and phoned and asked about it and said, could you help me? I don't know who to ask and I don't know what to do next. And we were able to respond to her and engage her in looking at, well, what's happening in her family, and what does she think her family needs. And from there we began to build a sort of pathways for her. So we connected her up with other resources in the community. We began to help her to look at her parenting problems, and we had a couple of parenting programs that were operating in the counseling end of our service department, and so we got her into those counseling programs, or into the parenting programs first. And with a couple of parenting programs, then she began to sort out what she could see as what was really making it worse, how her reactions weren't helping, and what she needed to alter. And so she began to work on that. She needed to talk with somebody, though, about her losses. So that's where she then began to engage a counselor. In the meantime, she still has a family support worker in the home, helping her with some of the practical stuff and helping her to get to her appointments and to deal with the school and a variety of other things. So we're looking at her whole life and beginning to work with that in a variety of contexts. And she needed to go back to school. She needed, okay, well, we don't do schoolwork, but we know who does. And so we were able to connect her directly to someone who could do the career counseling she needed to help. We helped her with the paperwork to get into the program that she needed, and then she was off and running. So we ended up from a crisis call, and 4 months later, the family's in a totally different space. It's no longer gyrating out of control. Things are beginning to really come around for them. The children received the kind of support they needed. They ended up in a children's group to cope with separation divorce. One of them ended up in a play therapy program, specifically engaging a play therapist so that they could express their anxiety and their fear and their hurt without it becoming too engaged in the relationships. It became something resolvable, copable for the child. So we began to put all these little things together as they unfolded, and it began to create the momentum the family needed to go forward. So then, like I said, within 4 months, they didn't need us. They were moving on. That's what we want.
Living United is about giving to your community and connecting with your neighbors. Living United means giving your time and talent to make a real difference in people's lives.
I see myself as living united by thinking of others. I always want my actions to be how would I want to be treated. And so when I got involved with United Way, I thought this is my way of making an impact and how I would want to be treated if I was in a position of need. And all of us are given gifts. And the gift that I've been given, I feel, is being able to organize things, and I've done some fundraising in the past. And I thought, how can I use my gift for good? And then the United Way opportunity came my way. I put those gifts into place and applied them to the United Way campaign coordinator position for the city of Regina, and the rest is history. What I really learned about helping out with United Way and being the campaign coordinator is that there is a big need right here in Regina, and sometimes I think I can speak for myself, live a bit of a sheltered life from that. I go to work, I work at City Hall, I work downtown, I live on the east side of Regina, and without having that influence of really seeing what the need is out there, you kind of forget about it. And so it really brought it close to my heart of what the real need is, and I was very blessed to be able to help be a resolution and a solution to that need.
Living United means connecting your gift to the community so it has the most powerful impact possible.
I live united by making annual leadership donation to Regina United Way. I do it because as someone in the environmental field, I know that education is very important for one's future and what one gets to pursue as a career. So I trust the United Way to make my money have the most impact. I know that they're supporting families and investing in kids so that they'll have the chance to finish school, have a stable life, and pursue their dream.
Living United is about engaging a whole new generation of community leaders.
And I basically started in the fall 2004 campaign, and in a matter of a week, the first week, for example, I really got an eye-opening of what the United Way actually did. I remember when we first week when we came together, we went through a lot of training, meeting a lot of new people. It was a little overwhelming, I guess, to some extent. And in particular, we went one day and we visited the funded partners. And the campaign coordinator at that time took us to, I remember specifically one of them was the Regina Open Doors Society. And I remember going in there and just kind of thinking about how our involvement and how our community dollars and everything invested in the United Way actually goes directly to help the community, our direct community basically. And for me, it was the first realization of how my time and how my commitment to something like the United Way will have a direct impact on Regina and our community. We went in, and the Regina Open Door Study is another one of those, I guess, funded partners that a lot of people probably don't know about. It's basically set up to help refugees and immigrants integrate within our community and become part of our community. And for me, it was basically, I kind of realized I can make a difference and I do help within our community. So to me, my involvement with United Way, I guess, runs much deeper than the earlier days when I was a loner up in 2004. To me, it's become almost a lifestyle. To me, I guess, living united is volunteering your time in the community, discussing over coffee with a colleague about how they too can get involved and how they can be an advocate for the United Way. To me, living united is caring for your community and giving to others, helping out, lending a hand when you can. It's not necessarily all about the one main fall campaign. It's trying to encompass it and make it a lifestyle.
Living United is about building a better, common future for all of us.
So in terms of myself, I live united by working at Family Service Regina to ensure that those services are there for the long term and that we're responding to the needs of the community as the community changes and as the community needs changes. And I also live United by serving on the United Way cabinet to ensure that that word gets out there to the broader community in terms of we all have a part to play.
Thank you for making a gift to the United Way of Regina. Because of you, your community will be a better place for us all. Together, by living united as one community, we are changing lives.